Seekers, welcome to another episode of The Straight Shooters. This is the show where we give our honest opinion. Honest. So if you don't want an honest opinion, this is not the place to be because there is zero sugarcoating here. So
as opposed to other show where we just lie about everything.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is beautiful. So we give analysis recommendations regarding various forms of entertainment. My name is Todd Braley.
And I'm Itai Guberman, your co-host. Ready for another one.
All right. We're both indie filmmakers and lovers of many different forms of arts and entertainment. So our last episode, and haters of some, yeah. So one of our last episodes, we talked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Now we're going to do the flip side and talk about the Amazon original show called As We See It, which I brought this show to Itai's attention. My wife and I watched this, I don't know, about a month ago, I think we did. And, just FYI, my lovely wife is sitting, stick your head in, just stick your head in, just stick your head in. It's okay. Right.
People need to put a face to the name.
Yeah, we got to put a face
to the name, my wife.
My wife. There she is. Hi. So anyway, we sat and watched this show, and we watched it kind of on a whim. We were trying to find something to watch on Amazon, and I just happened to land on the thumbnail, and it showed the preview for the show. And it's basically about three autistic adults who are living in an apartment together, and they basically they have different things that they have to do. Now, if you want to see what the show or if you want to see a trailer for it, they're all over YouTube, or if you have Amazon Prime, you can go on there and watch the trailer. But these three adult autistic,
or we might play it here if we don't get into trouble over rights or something.
Yeah, we'll try and do that. We'll see. I'll make two versions. Anyway,
yeah.
So you have these three adults that are all on the spectrum in different places on the spectrum of autism, and it's basically kind of about. It's just about them and their lives and the different situations that they deal with in the time of the show. And the show's kind of nice because each episode is only about a half an hour long. And I was actually pretty surprised how well and how developed they kind of got everybody within the first episode. I mean, I don't know about you, Itai, but when I watched it, they did a pretty good job of establishing all of the characters, between Violet and Jack and Harrison, who are the three autistic characters, and then Mandy.
They all have Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Mandy, who is played by Sosie Bacon, who is Kevin Bacon's daughter. And then
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, that's who that was. And then Joe Mantegna, did I say that right?
Joe Mantegna, yeah.
Mantegna, okay. I always say that wrong. I get that wrong. And he plays Jack's dad. Now the three stars.
He's the one actor in this show who actually is, a bit of a familiar face, familiar name.
Right.
The rest are fairly unknown, which is really cool, to get into a show where you don't really know most of them. Go on. There's one more character that's sort of a main, Violet's brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and Violet's brother, unfortunately, I didn't write his name down, but Violet's brother, who is like super overprotective of his sister because both of his parents have passed away. So I don't know myself in watching this, because I am trying to put together a script about a young autistic girl, called On a Blue Day, and we've actually shot a trailer for it. And so this show was kind of one of those things. I've been trying to do a lot of research for the script that I'm putting together, and it's this was kind of one of those things that, because you don't see too many movies about autism necessarily. And so I've been watching some movies, kind of movies and shows to see what not to do, but then I've also been on YouTube doing a bunch of research with actual autistic people to make sure that we get it right, you know, because there's nothing worse than having the mob come after you for not doing something correct. So, you know, what was your, I'll kind of interject, but I kind of want to hear what you had to think about the show yourself, since I kind of threw it at you and said, hey,
that was the kind of the beautiful thing about that, because you know, you told me about it and you said, you know, go watch the trailer and see if it, and I was like, nah, I'm not watching the trailer, I'm going straight into the show. I prefer not, you know, to know as little as possible. And like you said, there wasn't a hell of a lot of like, they didn't ease us into the show. It just kind of starts straight away. And from the situations that they showed you the three characters in, you get to know a lot about them very, very quickly. And I thought that was really, really effective. It's an Amazon original, and I have to say that from what I've seen so far on Amazon, as far as their original content, whether it's movies or series, they're actually very, very high standard of recent times. They're really, you know, investing time and money and care into these shows, and this was no different. It was really, really good. It's the full season is 8 episodes. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And in those 8 episodes, I watched it, enjoyed it. You know, there was no point where I was bored or something sort of rubbed me the wrong way. When I finished watching it, there was just a little thing about it that it felt a little bit on the surface, as far as certain things about, you know, autistic people or people with Asperger's syndrome. It felt a little bit, you know, like they're showing us not necessarily the good or the fun side of it, or whatever however you want to look at it, but it felt like it didn't go deep enough, because being someone with those types of issues and caring for someone with those types of issues is a lot deeper than what they've shown us here, even though they do go fairly deep, especially with Violet and her brother.
Right.
Because there's an added aspect that they're orphans. So he's really all she's got and she's all he's got. And, you know, and he does his best to be the cool brother, but also the uncool parent. And, you know, if she was, if she didn't have Asperger's, it would be hard, you know, and think about how hard it is, you know, that she does. And she's, I think in her mid to late 20s.
Yeah, she's supposed to be probably around 28 or 29, I believe was
yeah, I
her
think they
age.
mentioned 29 off memory, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, she was she just wants a boyfriend. You know, she wants
to be normal, actually.
Normal.
She wants to be normal, and you don't get that kind of luxury, I think, when you have, you know, autism or Asperger's syndrome or anything like that. So it's an interesting side of things, you know, to show how she goes from just wanting to be normal to understanding that normal is not really a thing, and you know, it shouldn't necessarily be something she aspires to.
Right.
She's sort of special as she is, and she needs to kind of you know, bring that out more than anything else. In some ways, I think out of I did like her character, but I think in some ways, out of the three, she was my least favorite because she was the loudest. She was like at a higher volume than the other ones,
Right.
and sometimes it's a bit grating. But overall, I understand that that is close to reality.
Yeah.
And I think you were telling me that the actors here are actually
my understanding from what I've read is Sue-Ann Pien, who plays Violet, Albert Rutecki, who plays Harrison, are on the spectrum. They are autistic. And Rick Glassman has been in a lot of other stuff. I went on his IMDb, and he had been in quite a bit. But my understanding with even him,
which character is he?
He's Jack. He's
he's one the third.
The glasses. But
yeah, he's good. I like him.
Yeah, he was. Everybody was really good in this. I mean, for having, these days, a lot of people think that you need to have people who have these disabilities, regardless of what they are, that we need to have people with actual disabilities playing these roles. But I think what they forget is that it's not necessarily that it's not as easy as just taking somebody who's autistic and putting them in a role. I mean, that's why we have Rain Man. That's why we have, from way back in the late 70s,
Forrest Gump,
or Forrest Gump, or even if you go back to the late 70s, there was a movie that Sean Cassidy did. Remember Sean Cassidy from the Hardy Boys? He did one called Like Normal People, and it was about an actual couple. It was one of the first couples in the United States that were mentally challenged to get married. So, but trying to get somebody. Now I could see with Sue and Albert that played Violet and Harrison, that it would be, where the difficulties trying to direct actors who are on the spectrum could have been difficult. But then it also depends on how severe the autism is. I mean, you've got some autism. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube who does weekly YouTube videos about him and his daughter, who is very she's nonverbal. She communicates through sign language and things like that. So, I can understand where people think that we should be using actual people with handicaps in films, and sometimes you can do that, but there are just times I kind of feel like that it's just not possible. A lot of people ragged on the movie Music that Sia did. For those of you who don't know Sia, she's a film or she's a musician. She's done a lot of dance music, things like that. She's
written some of the biggest hits in the world in the last decade.
Yep. And she got hammered for the movie that she did about this girl with autism.
She's also Australian.
Yes, she is Australian, but she got hammered for that movie. And a lot of the hate on that movie, and I watched it, and as a somebody who has a really hard time watching movies and separating, the filmmaker from the film watcher, which I more often than not cannot do. That movie I watched, and I was like, I was watching it, and I was enjoying how it was put together. There was a lot of music that was used. I don't want to go too far off track talking about something else, but it was just one of those movies that was done. I was like, why was everybody hating on this thing? Yeah, okay, so maybe you can do the standard, or what's considered to be the stereotypical, but everybody, it's not like she wasn't playing somebody that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with these actors, they're not playing stereotype, because I mean, in my opinion, if everything that you're doing within a film or a project is something that's been done 100 times before, and it's done in Rain Man style, or it's done in if it's done in Forrest Gump style, okay, then that's stereotypical to me, to those characters that have already been done. But it's not, I've been around a lot of autistic kids and adults, and it's not, they're not making things up. It's not wrong, I guess. So I guess for me, to see the different levels that they had each one of these characters in this TV show on was really it was not, it was good. It felt good to watch. You weren't ever cringing. I mean, you were cringing over Violet's probably her high squeaky voice.
I
get
not
that.
so much cringing, but it was a little bit grating in points.
Yeah.
But I think it was supposed to be, she's kind of like supposed to annoy us as the viewer a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she kind of does the sort of almost acting like a spoiled brat, even within her reality kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to put it aside and go, okay, it's kind of part of her condition. But yeah, to me, I'm more sort of sensitive to that kind of thing on screen. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit, at times. But again, I did like her. I think she was pretty good. The other two, Jack, I think, was my favorite. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they showed us separate relationships. He has a relationship with his father, mm-hmm. which is very interesting, which is Mantegna, who we talked about before, and mm-hmm. also a relationship with a nurse who works where his father is a patient. And those two were interesting to watch. It was very, very different relationships. Some situations were a bit similar because, again, Jack has an issue with expressing himself and social cues and things like that, and that's something that I'm familiar with. Sort of, in real life.
Right.
So it was interesting to watch. I thought that portrayal was pretty sort of spot on. Jack is also he's probably somewhere in the middle of those two. He is a little bit higher volume, but at the same time he's a little bit kind of cute, and you kind of go with it. He's funny, he's interesting. The first scene that we see him is when what is her name, the one who cares for them?
That's Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy.
Susie Bacon.
She tries to get him to go outside the building.
No, that was Harrison, not Jack.
Yeah, sorry, did I say Jack? I meant
yeah,
Harrison.
You said Jack.
I'm talking about
Jack.
Yeah, sorry. Gotcha. I was talking about Jack before. I moved away to Harrison. I probably still said Jack. And Harrison, like I said, he's the sort of the cute one. He's somewhere between those two other characters of Violet and Jack, mm-hmm. as far as his volume, as I put it. But yeah, he's funny, he's interesting, he's cute. That first scene is she's trying to get him to get outside, walk outside the building and go to the bakery, I think.
Yeah, there's a bakery down the street that Harrison really enjoys.
It's literally 100 to 200 meters away. But he has this sort of fear of being outside. He's afraid of dogs. He's sort of,
and those for those of you who suck at math, about 2 blocks.
Yeah. And he's very jumpy, and he struggles with people and with whatever comes at him unexpectedly, I should say, which is because he's actually okay with people.
Yeah, he's okay with people,
So-
but he has a really his
comfort zone.
his senses are, he gets overloaded really easy with lots of loud noises. And
Yeah.
if I can
Which is a
interrupt
bit-
you here.
Hmm.
Well, in doing all of my research for this project that I'm writing, there are videos, if anybody wants to look them up on YouTube, that people that autistic people have shot to show you, to give you an idea of what they're seeing and how their sensory overload it just pounds at them. We take it for granted going outside and walking down a city street when a bus drives by, or when horns honk,
A dog
or
barks at you.
a dog barks, things like that. We totally, as for lack of a better word, the normal people, that sensory overload doesn't hit us. But for Harrison, his sensory overload was just off the charts. So okay, I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say it was great that they kind of dropped us in on that, straight away.
Mhm.
There was no, building up who he is or why he is the way he is and all the rest of it. It was just her she was on the phone with him while he was walking to, trying to anyway, to walk to the bakery. And that was interesting, just to kind of get us started. So it basically put us in his position where what we're seeing, for our senses, it's a bit of sort of a lot. Hey, what's going on here? What's wrong with him? Why is she on the phone with him? What's
Right.
happening? You sort of pick it up pretty quickly, but it's still a bit chaotic.
It was a great setup, though. It was a great setup.
That's what I'm saying. It's much better than giving you lame exposition.
Right.
Just throw us into the mix. Let us work it out as we go along, and it does that, and then we move on to other characters, and it's
Violet,
it's an entertaining show.
Yeah, she starts working at Arby's, or she starts working. She's been working at Arby's, so it's obvious that she hasn't had that job, or that she's had that job for a while. So she's not, it's not new to her. But working the register is new to her.
Yeah, she was moved from the kitchen to the register.
Yep, to the register, and now she's dealing with the public. And unfortunately, there's the lack of a filter that Violet her social cues are really really bad. And I'm going to spoil just a little bit of that scene, but she's talking to this good-looking guy comes up and is taking her order, and she just pops up and says, we should go on a date. But if we go on this date, we probably shouldn't have sex on the first date. Maybe after that, maybe the second or the third one. And by the way, the show is not, I don't want to say it's not family friendly, but you probably don't want the kids under the age of 14 watching it, because there's a little bit of swearing in it.
Let's just say parental supervision would be.
Parental supervision is probably a good idea, but she says, but probably, by the second or third date, it would be okay for us to fuck. Just as she says that, this guy's wife, who has a child in her arms, walks up, and she goes, "What?" And then all hell breaks loose. And
let's just say that Violet talks so much and so fast that the guy can't get a word in, so he wasn't able to respond before his wife came in.
Yeah, at all. So
he was just trying to order it.
Yeah, he was just trying to order some food, and next thing she's talking about having sex with him. So it was, and all of the characters.
Let's say it caused some trouble.
A little bit, a little bit. You'll have to watch it to see what happens after that. But and it was kind of nice because all of the characters in there, and not just the main characters, even the supporting characters, nobody was a throwaway. I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of felt like while I was watching it that the characters were not they weren't just there to be there. Everybody existed for a reason. Even though some of them, may have only been on screen for, part of an episode or, 2 or 3 episodes, but, small parts. I really was surprised at how well they even kind of helped develop even some of these supporting characters who weren't on very long. And that's rare in a show that is only a half hour long for each episode. And I kind of felt like they got a lot done in 30 minutes.
I was going to say that I totally agree with what you're saying about the characters. And also the show is very easy to binge. Mm-hmm. I watched probably maybe 2 sittings. I got through that season. The episodes are not overly long, and they flow really well, that you just kind of jump onto the next one, onto the next one, onto the next one. You want to see what happens. The only reason I stopped watching and didn't do it all in the one day was because I had either some work to do or I had to get some sleep. So, but it was, it also leaves you kind of wanting to see more at the end. You kind of want to see, okay, where are these characters going?
And I looked up during our getting ready for this show. They're doing a season 2. So
yeah.
So I was happy.
No doubt that it would. Yeah,
I was happy.
I would have been surprised, I think.
Well, I mean, even at the end of it, even though it seems like it could have been set up for another season, if it would have just ended, it still ended okay. It still ended, and I would have been okay if that would have been it, because I've actually gone back and watched it again, just because I enjoyed it that much, and I enjoyed those characters so much that I just was kind of very very happy with how it ended. And that it ended with a little bit what could be considered a cliffhanger, but not enough for you to go, it's not like watching Yellowstone. When you get to the end, when you get to the end of a season of Yellowstone and you're like, what? And now you got to wait 10 months for the next season. So I really felt like it was well acted and looked good too. I mean, the cinematography in it, I mean, it wasn't anything off the chain and special, but it looked good. It was,
most of it is pretty
well
kind of standard filmmaking because it needs to be.
Right.
So that was fine.
Right.
But the production value is well above, decent. So that was, you know what I mean? You don't watch it and feel like you're watching something low budget or anything like that.
Right.
Just all fine.
Right. Well,
and like we said, there's another sort of familiar actress, I should say, in this that she only appears in one episode, but that's Laura San Giacomo, who plays
yes,
the aunt.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that she was going to come back in again because I really like her as an actress. I always have. Yeah, you never know. Season 2, she might come back. Yeah. So and for those of you who don't know who she is, she I forget her character's name. She was in Pretty Woman. She played what was her name in Pretty Woman? Laura.
I can't remember the
Laura San Giacomo or San Giacomo. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how I pronounce it.
Oh, okay. I always pronounced it San Giacomo. She was in The Stand.
She kind of broke through in Sex, Lies, and Videotape, I think. That was the big one.
Yeah, that was the movie.
And she was also in Just Shoot Me, the TV series.
The TV show, yep. That was the other series she was in. So that's who that character is.
Yeah.
But the humor,
I've been
the
a bit
humor
of a
in
fan
this
from way back.
Yeah, I've always liked her. I really liked her in The Stand. I thought the TV the first version of The Stand was, she played a really confused character. I just really like her as an actress. And then but something I wanted to bring up was the humor of this show. You laughed, and you weren't, and the thing about it was, you weren't necessarily laughing at the characters.
Not at all,
because you never laughed at them, or at it was always something that they did, or something that they said. Like in the first episode, Jack, the three, Jack, Violet, and Harrison are all sitting on the couch, and they're all talking to Mandy, and she's like, okay, so we all set these goals for the week, and so we need to talk about what the goals were, and did we accomplish those goals? And Jack is just sitting there with his hands over his nose, talking, Harrison smells. I can't stand the way Harrison smells. He really stinks. He should take a bath. How come he doesn't take a bath? He needs to go take a bath, because I can't sit here and talk about my week unless Harrison gets that stink out of the room. And I'm not doing it any justice. But it is so, it's that kind of humor that's sprinkled throughout the thing. And the funny parts are really funny. The emotional parts are really emotional. What?
Spoiler alert, the scene where they're all watching porn. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yes. When they're all watching porn, that was.
And to them, it's just like watching, National Geographic.
Yeah. Yeah. To them, it was no big deal. They were just watching porn.
The research. They're doing
research. Trying to figure out if they had seen one of the local what was
Zumba
it?
Instructors or whatever.
Yeah, Zumba instructor. It's like, I've seen her before. Where have I seen her before? And sure enough, cut to. And there she is in a porn. And then Mandy walks in the room and she's like, what are you guys doing? What are you watching? Oh, we're just watching Harrison Zumba instructor and some porn. And they're all just sitting there like, oh my God, it's just hilarious.
But that's the thing. It hits on some topics that are, I don't know if to call them controversial, not really, but some topics that are, I don't know, for like maybe it's sort of adult themed.
Yes.
But it's all done in a fairly light manner. The show is like a light comedy drama. I would still definitely recommend it, as family viewing, with some sort of parental supervision.
Yes.
But it's both sometimes offensive yet overall inoffensive. And I kind of like that balance. I'm curious to see, as they go forward, if they're going to sort of push the envelope or kind of stay in the same lane.
I don't know. I kind of hope they stay in the same lane, just because,
which is fine. Yeah.
Which is okay, because I mean, and stay in the same lane as far as not going over the top. It's good where it's at. Now, granted, you want to see your characters advance in their existence, but I've just seen shows where they kind of went over it's like, well, it was like Lucifer. It was on Fox, it was on a network TV show. They went to here, and then they got on Netflix, and they went, it's like, oh, well, we're on Netflix now, so we don't have anybody to tell us what we can and can't do. And then they completely go over the top in, the sex and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like sex, okay? But there's just, to me, there's just I don't want to say time and a place, but at the same time, it's, to me, there's a time and a place, and sometimes,
Yeah, because
Go
this
ahead.
show, even though it sort of talks about sex, refers to sex, sex is a big sort of topic in it. There's no nudity,
No,
there's no sex scenes. It
no.
just sort of, it skirts around it, and it's fine. That's sort of where it should be. If they do push the envelope, it might feel forced, and that's sort of what we don't want.
Yeah. I think that could hurt it if they went that route, but I don't know that they will, because I mean, if it's not,
I don't think they will. I think they'll stay.
I don't think they will either, because they pushed it to where they needed to push it, and then that's they did the sex scenes that they had, because they did, if you remember, with Violet in the back of the truck. So but it wasn't explicit, nothing
not much in it.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that you went, oh damn girl, you get some, but it was very tasteful.
Why would you ever do that?
Why? I don't know.
How many shows have you done that in?
How many shows have I done that in? I've done a couple. Look, when we get to watch,
damn girl,
damn, when we get to the episode where we're talking about Euphoria on HBO Max, dude,
I'm gonna need to watch that.
You're gonna need to watch that. Holy shit! That's all I'm gonna say.
So your review of that would be, damn girl,
damn. That's exactly what it would be. Because damn, that's all I'm gonna say about that show. Nothing more to say at that point. You're just gonna have to watch it, and I guarantee, sir, when you come back, you'll just be like this. I can't fucking believe what I just watched.
I'm not easily shocked or offended. So
I'm not either. But even
watch it and I'll see.
Yeah. Damn. as Gabriel Iglesias would say. So
yeah,
anyway,
I give it 4 out of 5 damns.
Damns. Bring it on. So I mean, as far as we see it, and to me, it's just a show. Every time I talked to one of my actors today, we were shooting some insert shots for our upcoming movie, The Chip. There you go.
Plug.
Shameless plug. And
shameless plug.
Yeah, there you go. There's the shirt. Shameless plug. Yeah. You Like to Draw, now available on Amazon Prime.
We should do one episode that's all shameless plugs.
There we go. We'll just make it all like Wayne's World. People just do things because they get paid for it. So anyway, but the show itself was when I had my actress over here, hi Rose, which by the way, she said when I told her that we were doing this podcast, she was like begging me to be on this podcast, and you would actually love her. She's Lori from You Like to Draw. You would
Rose Bonino.
Rose Bonino. You would love. Yep. She is such a talker, man. She's smart as a whip too. I showed her the trailer to As We See It, because I plan when we get to making on a Blue Day, she's going to play the autistic girl in the movie. So when I showed her the show, she was just like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this, if anything, just to watch it. So she was pretty excited about that. So yeah, I recommend this show. I mean, highly. It's a feel good. When you're done every episode, when you get done, you just, I don't know, you just kind of feel good and you're ready for the next episode.
Yeah.
They do. Do you kind of feel like they left you hanging on each episode of what's going to happen into the next one, or was it just enough for you to go, you know what, I really just want to see the next one, versus, oh my God, I got to watch the next episode?
Yeah, I don't think they left me hanging, but I definitely wanted to see more. You know, I wanted to see where certain storylines are going to go, and I just wanted to see more of those characters. And you know, as opposed to a previous episode we've done, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Bullshit.
Yeah, this one, the characters are well written, and that's really, you know, where the main strength of this show is. It's script, it's got good writers, and it's not just the main characters. You know, like Joe Mantegna's character, fantastic. You know, he is really good in this. I haven't seen him in much in recent times, and seeing him in this was just like, yeah, this is awesome. And well, even, you know, nice, we talked about Laura.
Yeah, it was such a departure from Criminal Minds or anything else he's done, you know. So having you know, seen him on Criminal Minds for 5 seasons or 6 seasons, whatever it is, you know, having him on.
He plays a Jewish character, which I know he's well, I think he's not Jewish.
No.
And I'm waiting for the backlash. You know, why would they let a non-Jewish actor play Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody will whine about it.
I thought he actually did really well. Like some of the mannerisms and stuff like that were very. I am also Jewish, so a lot of that was very familiar to me. You know, looked good. He was very convincing. Just loved him in this. And again, the one who plays the nurse, the African, she has I forgot the name. It's a strange name, but
her name was really hard to pronounce.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got it after a while, awesome. But I forgot it now. But yeah, and again, you know, we talked about Laura San Giacomo. Her character is sort of borderline despicable. You kind of dislike her, but she's just so well written in such a short screen time, and she did very well, you know, there as well. So, you know, there's just so many positives here with the writing, and the rest of it is just well above average. To me, it's a solid, you know, somewhere between 7.5 out of 10, and it can. I'm just leaving it room to get better in upcoming seasons. So definitely thumbs up for me. This one, I would definitely recommend. You know, people should watch it.
Yeah, I'm like a 9 on it, just because I just, you know, not too many shows that when the episode is over, or when things are done, you feel good about it. And that was just something about that show when it was over. Even though we got to the end and I was like, oh no, last episode, you know, it was, even on that last episode, you know, it was over. You still felt good about what you watched. You know, it made you feel good, and not just about what you watched, but the whole tone. It wasn't a downer. You didn't go, oh my gosh, well, that's horrible. Oh, this sucks. And you know, when it was over, you felt good. Because the characters were so likable, and they made, you know, the writing. I mean, again, back to writing. The writing was amazing. You know, they did really well with development and that. So and, I'd give it a 9.
I look forward to, you know, us doing an episode on season 2 once that comes out. So that's something, you know.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to catch up on that Euphoria though. I got that on my list of things that I wanted to talk about. So
it's something we haven't really talked about, but we're going to try to do episodes, whether it's on films or series, that are on you know, some of the main platforms. So basically available to view either for free or with your subscription. Not stuff that you need to rent or go and buy or stuff like that. And with indie, we might do both. You know, we might try to get people to to actually
'cause
pay
not
to watch some
everything-
indie, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when people complain about indie films or having to pay for them, which is really, it's almost, to me, I don't know about you, but I get insulted when somebody says, "Well, can I watch it for free?"
Mm.
Didn't I?
I don't get insulted. I just say no, you can't, because I
Yeah,
have an agreement with the distribution company, and that's it.
I've made it. I've kind of made sure that I only have a select few people that I will give a free link to. But even then, that is still, you know, if you were excited to see it, then paying $2.99 to watch it isn't going to break the bank. You know, just because it doesn't say Sony or Columbia Pictures on it doesn't mean that it's not good. And I think sometimes people forget that.
And it's such a struggle, you know, getting people to pay to watch that. You know, we need a lot of views to actually make some money.
Right.
Out of that $2.99, it's not like we get $2.99. So
nope.
You know, you try to inform people as much as possible about, you know, what it's like to be in indie and how things work. For us, what people do with that is up to them. I generally don't get insulted when people say, "Can I watch it for free?" I just say no, most of the time, or almost all the time. But yeah, you know, if they don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you want to watch it, watch it. We're going to try to make people aware of some indie stuff, you know, that might be at cost to watch, and they can watch it or not.
And it doesn't take any less energy to make an indie film than it does to make a studio film. You know, the energy is still the same. The amount of time.
More.
Yeah, in fact, it's more because there's, you know, and the guy in Clapboard Jungle, you know, he brings that up, you know, that documentary that's on Amazon Prime that I paid to watch. So, you know, it's, as an indie filmmaker, you know, we do more work because there's not, you know, sometimes what I don't think people realize is you and I, and you know this, we're doing the jobs of 10 people. We're having to be the director, we're having to be the producer, we're having to be the writer, we're having to be the location manager. We are having to the location manager / location scout, which is normally could be 2 to 3 people. You know, we're having to sometimes be the cameraman too, and we're having to be the
sometimes driver, and sometimes everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've held, you know, the boom in some of my films.
Yep.
So
yep, I did too.
It depends, you know. We fill in wherever is required because we have to get the film made. So if someone doesn't show up for whatever reason, or if something happens on set and someone needs to go, whatever, we make sure that those roles are filled. And sometimes it means we have to do it. We don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to trying to get some revenue back from the films that we fund ourselves as well, it's nice, you know, if people actually go and pay to view them, because usually it's a couple of dollars here and there, and and that's what we always try to encourage, you know, support indie film. So yeah,
please, thank you.
So wrapping up about As We See It. As we see it, we both like it a lot.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So this is one that definitely go see it. If you've already seen it, drop us a comment, let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, go see it, and then drop us a comment, let us know what you think. And yeah, give us shoot us some requests of things that you want to see us talk about. Again, can be film, can be music, can be
email address below.
The email or in comments or whatever, we'll try to you know, to get on to sort of all our socials and pick up the information from there. We might not get to everyone. It might take us some time, but we'll do our best to cover it all. And yeah.
Well, thanks again for watching.
I feel a bit cleaner now that we talked about something positive after having a negative episode.
Don't feel like you have to take a shower. It's like,
yeah, I felt a bit dirty. I did.
Yeah. Well, some of us.
I generally try to be very, very positive about anything to do with film and with art, and it just well, we have to call it as we see it.
Yeah, that's what is why the show's called Straight Shooters.
That's right, and we're not fluffing up anything about as we see it. We actually really do like it.
So we liked it a lot, and it was
I was
really good. So, all right, well, thanks again for joining us on this episode. If you would again, if you want to contact us, the email address is right below. Make sure that you go to My Indie Productions to check out all of the My Indie artists that are on that page. I am on that page, and Itai is on that page, and Itai runs the page. Check us out on Facebook. Just look us up, Todd Ernest-Braley, Itai Guberman, and then also My Indie Productions has its Facebook page, and Itai does a crap ton of promotion for My Indie, and he is absolutely amazing at what he does. So show him some love. Make sure you guys share, like, and share everything where you can like and share, because we're going to be on several different platforms. So make sure that you click the like button, make sure that you share it with your friends, and move on, because algorithms and how much more do I need to say
MyIndieProductions.com is where you can find out more about both Todd and myself. You can check out what projects we've done in the past, what we're involved with right now, and check out obviously Straight Shooters.
All right. Tell your friends about it. Tell everybody your friends, your aunts, your uncles, your moms, your dads, your dogs, your cats. Let everybody know.
Yeah, shoot us requests, feedback, anything you want, and and we'll go from there. We love to interact, so hit us up.
Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.